welcome back to a new video. I am actually very excited for today's video, and I'll be honest, I almost did not film this because about a year ago, I think it was like last April or May, I don't know, sometime last spring, I posted how I started my own emergency food pantry. And honestly, that was the most controversy I've ever seen in a comment section on one of my videos. So many people did not agree with how I started it, the items I stocked, why I started it. They wanted to tell me what I did wrong, what I needed to add. It was wild. Thinking back to that, I'm a little nervous, but also excited to share with you today how to start an emergency food pantry for just $25 and the 3 steps I would take to build said pantry. Now, this is just based on me, myself, and what I like to do for our emergency food pantry, but to also encourage you in case you are like me, who when you went to start one, or maybe you are looking at starting a food pantry for yourself and for your family, I felt so overwhelmed by everyone who I would find, because when you go into search on YouTube and on Google pulls the most popular items. So I would see these videos of people that had massive prepper pantries, massive stock, and I would feel so overwhelmed because that's not what I personally wanted to do for me and my family. I just wanted a little bit of emergency food on hand for my own reason. And my reasoning could be different than your reasoning. I said in the last video, I'm gonna say again, everyone's lifestyle and wants and needs for an emergency food pantry is so different. This is just to hopefully inspire you to start one out if you have limited space and a limited budget. But you can grow said pantry over time and maybe make it a little bit bigger, but it's nice to have an emergency food pantry on hand for a bunch of different reasons. Whatever your reason is, it's your reason. So you don't have to let anybody tell you that you are wrong, and that's kind of how I feel too. I had, again, so many people tell me that I was doing things wrong. An emergency pantry to me and the climate that I live in and the lifestyle that I live is for an emergency when it comes to if we need to have food really quickly because of a weather climate, maybe because of a little bit of food shortage. It's just kind of to get us by. If you are someone who needs to build a large pantry because you have a large family, you can do it this way, but your budget might have to be a little bit bigger. Again, it's just the 2 of us. Right now, we have a little one on the way, but I won't start building that part of the pantry until it gets a little closer to my due date and my delivery, because there's really no sense in buying those things right this second. That's just how I feel. But if you are someone who has limited space, who has a limited budget, and just feels overwhelmed when you go to research and look how to build a food pantry, I got your back. Today you can start one for just $25. So I'm gonna share with you my grocery haul in a little bit, but first I'm gonna share with you where I shopped. I actually went to my local Dollar Tree. Yeah, Dollar Tree. Why did I go there instead of Winco Foods or Smith or Walmart? Mainly because I know that no matter what Dollar Tree you shop at, the prices are gonna be the same. Which, like, if I go to Walmart and spend $25, that might be more or less than your Walmart, because those prices are not the same all over. But the one nice thing about the Dollar Tree is no matter where you shop, it's always gonna be $1.25 per item. Whether you shop here in Nevada or in California or in Florida, you get what I'm saying. So I was able to buy 20 items today for just $25. They are going in our emergency food pantry, but I thought I would share with you how I would kind of start, and then, like I said, where I would go from there. If you are someone who has a Winco Foods or an Aldi near you, that is actually the 2 stores I would personally shop at over the Dollar Tree, because I know the prices are less and they have a great selection when it comes to bulk items. I would actually go there first, but if you don't have either of those places, you know, you can kind of check prices at Walmart or at your chain grocery store. But the nice thing is if you duplicate what I do and find the items that I found at your local Dollar Tree, it would cost you the same amount. That was just for inspiration. You can shop wherever you want to shop. I know that like some Dollar Trees carry different things, but I thought that would be encouraging to say, hey, she did this all at the Dollar Tree. I have a Dollar Tree down the road. Kind of just for that little bit of encouragement and inspiration. I also wanted to say that I don't really live in a climate with extreme weather conditions. I mean, we get really hot here and sometimes we have flash floods, but we have a really good drainage system for the most part. I mean, anything can happen, right? We can see that in the world, that like anything can happen, but I don't have hurricanes, I don't have tornadoes, I don't have earthquakes, I don't have snowstorms. So those things, in my opinion, need a different kind of emergency related pantry. This is just food related. And personally, everything I put in my own emergency food pantry, I think, can I cook it like I'm going camping, which might be extreme, but that's what I think of, because the items that I have to cook on a regular basis are a gas stove and a gas oven. So if I'm in an emergency state, I'm probably not gonna be able to use those items because they do take electricity to run. So I think, can I cook it on an open flame? There we go. So that might not be how you think, but I grew up in Minnesota, so I'm very, very familiar with extreme weather. And I think back to then too, like if growing up, we always had an electric stove. And if we were in a dire situation because of a tornado or because of a snowstorm, because we didn't have electricity for a while, we couldn't implement that anyways. So I think always, can I cook it on an open flame? AKA, can I cook it when I'm camping? And those are the things I personally like to stock in my own food pantry. Again, you have to think of your food pantry working for you and your lifestyle. Some people build out large food pantries because they want to have a backup plan in case one of the people in their house loses a job, or maybe they want to save money on groceries, or maybe they just want a large pantry in case something happens. Like whatever your reasoning is, I thought I would just say that because the reasoning of my grocery haul today is I always think, can I cook it on an open flame? Another thing that I always try to think of is items that do not need cooked. You're not always gonna want to cook if it's a state of emergency. I don't know, I just always think like sometimes you're gonna want things that are more convenient. And yes, you have to spend a little bit more money to get said items because they don't cost as little as items that you have to cook. So for example, these two items I picked up, like I said, at the Dollar Tree. I have a pack of refried beans and a pack of ready to steam rice. Now technically this is not something you could make on a stovetop. I guess it kind of is, you just have to heat it. But knowing how to make this when you go camping, you can put a little bit of water in it, you can steam it, etc. Or you can honestly just eat it. It's technically cooked. But think of items that you can also have on hand that you don't have to cook with, because again, opening this pack of refried beans is gonna be a lot easier than having dry beans that you do have to cook. So I like to keep canned beans on hand, refried beans, packet of rice, packet of noodles that you just have to add water to, things like that keep things really, really easy. A couple of other things, if you can find them, are the freeze-dried soups. I sometimes will find them on super sale, and I have some in my emergency pantry right now. Dried fruit, canned vegetables, those are all really easy because you just need a can opener, or again, like you just need a little bit of water to steam it. It makes it a lot easier to not having to cook tons and tons of food, because maybe you are just without electricity for a couple of days. This is a great backup plan to have. So think of items that you don't need to cook. Another thing that was always suggested to me in my last video that personally I don't stock, but you might want to think about, is seasonings. If I'm in dire need of food and it's a state of emergency, I'm not gonna turn away some refried beans and some rice because they're not seasoned. But that's just me and my palate. I don't care if things are seasoned. Maybe you do, and that would be something to add into your emergency food pantry. Maybe you're like, you know what? My family really needs seasoned food. So think of that when you are creating your pantry. Okay, let's jump into my grocery haul, and I'll share with you what I got today for just $25. Again, I got 20 items for $25. So as you see, there are 20 items on here, and it cost me $25 even. So there's that. Okay, here's the grocery haul. I'm gonna run down kind of some meal ideas that I have, but honestly, it's just a first start stock up. And I already talked about these, but I wanted items on hand that I don't necessarily have to cook. So I got 3 bags of these refried pinto beans. They have no animal fat in them because I do eat a vegetarian diet. I did get 3 of the whole grain brown rice packets. They did have jasmine, quinoa, and white rice, but I decided to go with the whole grain just because I thought it looked the best. These would actually be included into an actual meal. I got 2 packs of pasta and 2 pasta sauce, because you just have to boil the pasta and add some sauce in it, and you have a really, really quick meal. And these are a great price regardless if it's for emergency pantry or not for us, because it's 20 ounces and the price is fantastic. I stocked up on every flavor of bean that they had. You could stock up on your favorite beans, whatever. The nice thing with these is you can do a soak method or you can do a boil method. And honestly, it doesn't take very much time. So my favorite are lentils, pinto, and black beans. But again, I got all of them for variety. It's nice to have on hand. Just to note, these are not 1-pound bags. They're actually 12-ounce size. So typically at Winco Foods, I would find a 1-pound bag for about the same price, but give or take. I thought the Dollar Tree would be helpful today. Rice is always such a nice thing to have on hand. In my opinion, I like rice more than I do pasta. So I think of that when it comes to emergency. I got one 2-pound bag of the white long grain and then 1 2-pound bag of the brown. Personally, I don't keep flour as an emergency because, again, if we're in a state of emergency, I'm probably not gonna be able to cook in my oven or on my stovetop. So I got these instead. I think this is so easy because you can make so many different things with either biscuit mix or pancake mix, and it just kind of adds some variety. But this is also something that stays a long time on the shelf life, and again, it's just variety. There's the items I got. Oh, this is only 19 items. Let me show you the 20th. In that grocery haul, you actually saw 19 items because I want to personally share with you the 20th item, why I picked it up, and I wanted to kind of give the person who gave me this idea like mad props. Somebody commented on my last emergency food pantry video that one item she would stock, and she does stock, is items for the little kids in your life. If you are an emergency, giving them something of comfort, maybe a packet of applesauce or dried fruit or a little fruit snack, can go a long ways. So my last item, my 20th item, is actually this pack of fruit snacks. Maybe fruit snacks aren't the best choice, maybe they're not the healthiest, but let's think in a state of emergency when we might be utilizing an emergency pantry, and having something like this on hand can do wonders for the little kids in your life. So this is something that I've started to stock consistently and rotate through because it's something that I want to have on hand in case it ever comes down to it where like we don't have electricity, we have friends over, their kids are scared, something, anything. You can think of any reason to have them. And I know as a little kid, this would have been so comforting to me at any time when we had to go to the basement for a tornado, because we would just like rush downstairs and it felt very panicky. And honestly, having like a little snack to say, hey, take your mind off of it, would have been so helpful as a kid. So this is just obviously a no name, no brand name pack from the Dollar Tree. There's 12 packs in it. I was like, you know what, that looks good. You could get a name brand pack if you wanted to. This is just what I picked up because what they had on stock based on the Dollar Tree. But I thought this was such a great idea that I wanted to throw it into today's video. So where would I go from here? First thing I would do from here is I would evaluate your personal budget. Again, this is built on the mindset that you don't have a lot of excess to spend to build an emergency pantry or an emergency fund. So I would actually look at your finances and say, can I spend $25 a month? Can I spend $25 every other week? Can I spend $25 every other month? You know, kind of look to see what excess you have and see if there's any way you can cut back a little bit to build your pantry faster. If you can't, it's no big deal, really. Just build it at the time frame that you can, that you feel comfortable with. Again, I try to do this in an encouraging and inspiring way that didn't make you feel like you had to do this all at once. Go spend $500 or $1,000 to stock up. I personally don't think that that's like the smartest way to do things. I think you should do it little bit by little bit, because think about it. If everybody in Las Vegas, which is, how many people live in Las Vegas, Nevada?
In 2021, the population of Las Vegas was 646,790.
Okay, 646,000 people went out after they saw this video and spent $1,000 on groceries tomorrow to stock up. Guess what would happen? There would be no supplies left in any of the stores in Vegas. And all of a sudden, we would see the influx that we saw that is generating because of what happened in 2020. I went to school originally for economics. I understand how economics work. I understand supply and demand. So I do not think there is any reason to go out and buy and overbuy and stock, because if everybody did it, we would have no supply and a lot of demand. When that happens, grocery prices significantly increase. We see that the makers of our food say, oh my gosh, everybody's going out to buy rice. Therefore, we have a shortage of it. It's in demand. We can raise the price. They're still gonna buy it. And that just keeps leveling up. So I do think that buying things in small increments is a lot smarter to do than just going and stockpiling a ton. Remember the toilet paper crisis of 2020? Yeah. Toilet paper will never be the same price ever again. Also, if you don't have a lot of storage to put things, I just want to encourage you that honestly, you can get a small bin, like a Tupperware bin that's like this big. and you can stock items in there. This is my kitchen pantry, and I could put a bin of food at the bottom. You could also put it in a closet or just off to the side in a room if you're in a small apartment. Yes, it may not look aesthetically pleasing, but having a space for your emergency food is important. Personally, we keep ours in our garage. We have a climate controlled garage. It gets really hot here, but behind me right here is a kind of under the stairs closet that eventually we will build out into a large pantry, so my food eventually move into there. We just haven't done it yet. It's a project that's been on our to-do list for 2 years. Eventually we'll get to it. But I want you to feel like you can do this. You can go out and spend $25 today to break your bank. You got this. Check out the resources I have linked down below. You can see on my blog, I actually set you guys up for a mini meal plan and the next 2 shopping trips to kind of add on to this pantry. Like I said, whether you are shopping once a month, once every other month, you know, stocking up once a week, however your budget allows, but you'll see 2 more $25 shopping trips. And again, it will vary based on prices in your area. This is just based on Dollar Tree prices. But again, if you have an Aldi, a Winco Foods, or a Walmart, they are usually lesser price for the same items. So you might end up spending a little bit less than what I have pre-budgeted for you. Make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know how your food pantry is going. Let me know if this was helpful. If you have any helpful ideas or tips, leave them down below, and I will see you soon in a new video. Bye.